Good morning, everyone. Morning, Richie B. Morning, Up and Go team. Morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on Untangle on the Bridge 99 FM. It's always a pleasure. A very special morning to the Untangled team as we start you off this morning. And like we promised you, we're going to be meeting author of 8 self-published books and poet Sacheen Laing. So we're just about ready for Sacheen. Sacheen, you there?
Here, I'm here.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thanks. So I'm actually seeing you on the monitor of the Bridge 99 FM. Welcome to Untengle on the Bridge. I see you surrounded by books.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, wonderful. So I know you have 8 books self-published. We're going to be focusing on 2. But before we start to talk about your books, let me ask you a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you before you started writing the books, community, that kind of thing?
Who was I before I started writing books? I don't even know because I've always been writing. If you ask my mother, she'd tell you that from she taught me to read and write, I've always been writing.
So it's something that you've always wanted to do?
Yes, it's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always had a voice. I've always had, if you ask me anything, I have something to say about it. I have very questioning mind growing up. So I would question everything. Maybe it was annoying to a lot of people, but it was just who I am. And I'm glad that I was like that because then I grew up to learn more because once you question things, you get a lot more information.
That's right. You get answers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you were always an opinionated child.
Yes.
All right, fine. And what else did you want to do apart from writing?
Honestly, I didn't want to do anything else.
So you found your calling.
Yes, I found it, and what I did was I found ways to implement it in my daily life.
Wonderful.
So in terms of work, I found a profession that allowed me to be creative and to write.
Beautiful. So I understand that you're also a poet. Is that right?
Right. That's where it started. You know, as a child, I started to write a little poem here and there. Attend church, you see something that inspires you, you write a little poem about it. So I actually started out in poetry before I decided to start writing stories.
Okay, but you seem to be more excited about being an author.
I wouldn't say that at all, actually, because I remember it was 2 years ago, I wrote a poem every single day for a year.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, if we have a little time, we're going to ask you to read one of the short ones, right? Okay.
All right.
So let's talk about the Curly Hair Club. And it's a story about a girl named Carly. So let us talk about Carly and how your life influenced writing about her.
Okay, well, growing up, you know, you hear the constant words that you hear dry, you hear picky. When you compare yourself to other girls around you who perhaps have a little cool in them, a little Indian in them, you know, they hear long and slow, while you're always hearing that you're picky, and it does stay good. So it kind of came from that where I would hear that a lot, the comparisons and all that, and I wanted to create a space for our girls to know that their hair is just as beautiful in its natural form and that we should embrace it. So that's kind of where it came from, my own experiences growing up.
Okay, and then when we look at some of the books that we grew up reading,
right,
the people who were in those books had yellow hair. I mean, you know, I used to look around, I used to look around and says, "Oh, come, none of we do have yellow hair." Oh,
yes,
come.
I asked the same questions because, you know, I would read Snow White, Cinderella, all those type of fairy tale books. And I'd be like, I can't relate to any of these people. They don't look like me. Is it that something is wrong with me?
True, man.
You know, I'm not allowed to be in books like these. What happened to my stories?
Right.
So as soon as I was able to, I wrote it.
Right. You know, I remember reading the story of Rapunzel. You know, and thinking to myself, well, how do I want to be Rapunzel? But then the only way we can be Rapunzel is actually if we grow locks, because say if you
Right.
grow locks, you can be Rapunzel around
Mm-hmm.
here. Okay, all right. So this is your experience, and you decided to change what was happening around you and give children a story that they could relate to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about Carly a little bit, and how these books come in very handy, because I remember having an interview with another author who and her husband who wrote a book, Rex Goes to Canada, and it was that book or one of those books that we chose to actually read to one of the schools read across Jamaica.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So these books are very handy when it comes to reading for our children. So
Right.
tell me the story of Carly.
Well, Carly went to a new school. So, when you go to a new school, you don't know anybody, you feel out of place. So, when she started school, she realized that she didn't look like a lot of the girls because some of the other girls, their hair were relaxed or they
Okay.
had in different other hairstyles that didn't really showcase their natural hair. But Carly's mother would comb her hair in what we call shiny bombs
Yeah.
in Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
And that would make Carly even feel more self-conscious because the girls would look at her and point and laugh. And, she would feel bad about it. But when one day Kylie came across this book where she saw girls across the world, the African heritage, and they would
Right.
embrace those type of hairstyles, and Kylie started to realize that, listen, this is okay. It's okay for me to look this way. There are people out there who look like me, and
Right.
they're happy about how they look and how they feel. So Kylie decided to do the same thing in her school, where she created the Curly Hair Club to encourage other girls who struggled with these similar feelings that she did, that she was unaware of. Because instead of talking about it, they would bully her about it, which a lot of us are guilty of. So she decided to form the club, and all the girls who at first were feeling a little bit self-conscious came on board, and she transformed the entire school into girls who would love and appreciate their natural hair.
What a beautiful story. Oh, that's a lovely story. And then I'm looking at the picture of Carly and her friends. So I'm
Hmm.
sure Carly then became like a little hero amongst her
Yes.
peers
Yes.
instead of
And she
someone.
also changed the parents because a lot of the problems had to do with the parents because they would
Absolutely.
tell their little girls that, your ear dry, I can't bother comb your ear, too much work, which a lot of
Yes.
us heard growing up. Our parents got frustrated with our hair, and that's where a lot of the changes came into play.
So
So she not
true.
only transformed the little girls, but she transformed the thinking of their parents as well.
It was just yesterday. Two of my friends and I were talking about the very same thing. And one of my friends said, her mother said to her, say, she should try know who she go have children for
Oh,
because
yes.
she not need no pick me head. And it brought up a conversation with all of us. And I remember thinking to myself back then that if I had a little girl and her hair couldn't grow, I would
Yeah.
cut it very low in that little short afro, and I would
Hmm.
put some little knobs in her ears, and she'd be the
Yeah.
cutest thing in the school. So why?
Which is why I made sure that I showed different hairstyles in the book. So
Right.
every girl could find a character that they could relate to. So I have the low afro, I have the bigger one,
Ooh, look
I
at
have
my pretty,
locks,
pretty
I have
girls.
sister locks.
Oh,
I have all
nice.
kind of hairstyles in the book. So there's something there for everyone.
And times have changed, and thank God for
Hmm.
that, because you can do so many things to our children's here. No, all right. So that's that book, and that book is called The Curly Hair Club. I love that one. So let's
Hmm.
talk about the other book now, and the other book is called wait name the one for boys, Thrones Not Cells.
Hmm.
Tell us about the inspiration of that book. And can I just say, I'm so elated to know that there are so many authors who are writing stories for children, because that's where the mindset needs to be changed
Right.
from
Yes.
from children and, as you say, parents. Let us talk
Hmm.
about Thrones Not Cells now.
Well, Sloan's Not Cells is similar to the Curly Hair Club, but it more focuses on our dark skin and love and appreciation for our natural hair as boys. If you're looking, a lot of time we come across news stories where boys are locked out of school because of the hair, and that whole debate in terms of how hair should be to be groomed for school and stuff like that. So the Thorns Nutshell speaks to a story about that, how we can ensure that our boys are raised to love their natural hair. It's not about cutting down your hair to a certain level for it to be appropriate. What are we saying to our boys that if it's not at this level, then something is wrong, you know? So it's all about changing that mindset as well. And in terms of our dark skin, we still struggle as a society to really embrace and love our dark skin. And a lot of the times we focus on the girls when it comes to matters of this. So I wanted to tell a story of a young boy and how he struggled to do that.
Okay, so this young boy is an 11-year-old Anthony, and
Yes.
he even has a last name. Okay, so let's talk about Anthony Mcintosh and exactly what he went through. You know, I'm thinking to myself, this is something that is happening even now, unfortunately. And just the other day we heard about the KC boys, and we, up to this day we're still searching for the hair that is untidy, because we are seeing some
Right.
gorgeous young boys and their hair is very well kept. So
Yeah.
the mindset still has to be broken. So let's talk about Anthony.
Well, Anthony grew up in a very similar situation to a lot of our boys, where he's in a single household where it's just his mother and his brothers, no father figure. And Anthony's brothers were lighter complexion. They resembled their father, their mother, sorry, while Anthony had a darker complexion, resembled his father, the father whose mother couldn't stand. So naturally, she had some level of resentment towards Anthony because he looked just like, as Jamaicans would say, him careless papa. Right?
No, this is not funny. No, it's not
Right.
funny. No,
Right.
it's not. Go ahead.
So she would treat him differently. So right there and then, Anthony already had low self-esteem from home, and he
Yes.
carried that into the school setting. And there,
Oh.
yeah. So his mother wouldn't treat him to a haircut. She wouldn't allow him to take pride in himself. Then she would just reserve that for her other sons because they would like her, the light of complexion, and he found himself in a school surrounded with a lot of bleaching. And so he stood out. He stood out because he had dark skin, you know, dark. So he already felt like he just did not belong. So it was very difficult for him to find his place there. But what changed for Anthony was when he had a teacher, a dark-skinned teacher, as a substitute teacher who came into the school. He had long locks, a dark skin, and he singled out Anthony because perhaps he saw himself in him and he wanted to give him some level of encouragement. So it was that teacher who allowed Anthony to find himself and to embrace everything that he once hated about himself.
Sacheen, you know, you're saying this just so casually, but I'm here to tell you how much it is just for a child who takes up a book like that and reads it, no matter how that child looks, and particularly if that child looks like Anthony, you're answering so many questions because there are children inside homes, and it may not be a skin color problem. It might be your features. It might, just as you say, be your hair color. It can be so. It might be who learns faster than who. There are just so many issues that children, as we celebrate them this month, go through, and these are, you know, when we have a book, it really kind of enhances the conversations that we might have, because we might have these conversations, but we can point to that book. We can point to the book. Have you read the book about thrones not cells? And therein, you know, lies a basis for children to see themselves differently. And just like what you said about having a teacher who either looks like Anthony or understands exactly what Anthony is going through. This is just such a Jamaican
So,
experience.
yeah, it is so important as well. That's why I wanted to create books where it's not just about you take up a book one time. I want the stories to resonate. I want them to have an impact on their lives. So years down the line, you'll remember how that book made you feel. Because looking back, I used to love reading Enid Blyton and books like those. Those were things that I got for birthday presents.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the things that I remember up to this day.
Right.
So I want you to do the very same for our children, something that is
Right.
specific for them.
Something that, as you say, resonates.
Yes.
But you have also published books, 8 self-published books, or you do that?
Well, you know, when you have a dream and you want something, but you just like when I come up and I say I want to do something, sometimes I get very impatient. So the whole process of going through the traditional publishing, I just couldn't wait. I just knew I wanted this story out. So I did some research and I found out how I would be able to do it myself through Amazon to get my books published. So that's what the whole self-publishing process is about.
Right. So you mentioned Amazon. So how else can we get copies? I would just love to be able to read these stories to children. For those who are among children, for those who have young children, for teachers in classrooms, how can they access these books?
All right, well, they're on Amazon, but they're also available at you in Mona Bookshop.
Okay.
And in a couple weeks' time, I'll have more copies. I'm working with some businesses out here so I can get bulk copies. So I'll be able to like have schools and other organizations come in and make their purchases. So people just can reach out to me on social media and I will get the copies to them.
Okay, wonderful. I'm sure there are many other topics that you have written about.
I have.
Just quickly tell us the other books that you've written.
All right, so I have a coloring book. So the coloring book would be more for children who don't reach the level as it where they can read.
Mm-hmm.
So it's based on the illustrations from the Curly Hair Club and Thrones Not Cells.
Okay.
And I also have some poetry collections, which speaks to a lot of the issues, that social issues in Jamaica. And just love, romance, those type of things. Not the cliche, because I try to stay away from, the cliche type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's more, once again, poetry that you can relate to, and it's just personal experiences and things that I've observed around me.
Okay, Sacheen, we have a little bit of time, and I would like you to use that little bit of time to read one of your poems.
Right, great. So I'll actually read the poem that is on the back of the Curly Hair Club. So I still found a way to implement my love of poetry into my books. So here it goes. Future queens, we are fed our heritage daily, taught to be queens and to raise queens. Coils in our hair, once called untamed, we now embrace. Coils now freely dance. African prints sit perfectly on our temples. The voices telling us to be insecure surround us, but our melanin is thick. We silence it. We continue to feed on our heritage, planting seeds for Black queens to come. We dip our minds in what they try to discourage us from, the roots of the motherland.
That's it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so very much for sharing that beautiful poem. Thank you very much for being so intentional about delivering your message, because it's obvious that you have a story that you want to share. And thanks for recognizing that this is a story that children need to be reading over and over again to really help with their self-esteem. Bless you.
Thank you so much for the platform to share as well.
Most welcome. All right, so have a wonderful day and continue to write.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, take care. So that's Sacheen Laing. Wonderful. We went through 2 stories, but I'm sure that she has a lot more to share. The Curly Hair Club and the Thrones Not Cells really resonates. It speaks to issues that we have here in Jamaica. So you heard her say that you can get it on Amazon, and we will tell you the other medium through which you can get these books. So we really do have to really support these authors or young authors, and especially when they have books that can underscore development of our people. Okay, so it's now time for us to join Beauregard and the Iowa Jam listeners. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mama Kelly.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's lovely here in New York City, about 73 degrees, so the place feels nice.
Nice. So make up ask you something. Which you like? The heat or when it's not so hot? Which one?
No, I rather when it's just nice. But I rather the warm weather over the cold weather any day.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And 70, how much you say?
73.
That's
right
not too
now.
bad. That's not too hot.
No, not too bad.
Okay, all right.
The breeze
cool.
are blowing thing and thing.
Okay, I got
But
you.
unfortunately, this good weather comes with sad news.
What?
Here in New York City, we have been experiencing a lot of shootings taking place. Just yesterday evening, a child's life was taken. She was shot in the Bronx. She's 11 years old, and there were gunmen chasing another man on a scooter, and she was hit with a stray bullet, and she lost her life.
God have mercy. The story of our lives. I tell you, that happens. That happens just about everywhere now. And that's the thing about gunshot. It no eye.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. And one of the biggest shootings that took place over the weekend also took place here in New York, in Buffalo, where 11 people were shot and killed in what they're calling a hate crime. They're saying it was racially motivated. A young white boy, 18 years old, he went to a supermarket in Buffalo and shot all black victims. There were 11 victims. Well, 10 of them were black, and 2 of them were white.
You know, a friend of mine sent a picture of scribblings in a bathroom wall.
Let me correct that number, Mama Kelly. 11 of the victims were African American, and 2 of them were white. Just to give you the right numbers, because I'm giving you some numbers that are sort of off a little, so I just corrected it.
Okay. A friend of mine sent me some scribblings that they saw in a bathroom wall, your side, and you know, it really is really sad and sometimes frightening when you can enter a bathroom and see what happened in Buffalo is just the beginning. Beware niggers. I mean,
Wow.
you know, yeah, that was, and I have the picture. It was written in a bathroom wall, and can you imagine going into a bathroom and being of African descent and seeing that? You know, it's a sad state, and you kind of wonder what is the point, with what in mind.
To be honest with you, Mama Kelly, my take on it is that, I feel like they're at this moment in time scared and feel as if they're really and truly being shown that, they are the minority on the planet, and I feel like they're afraid of what is happening right now.
I agree with you.
You know,
It must be
it's-
fair.
It's becoming more and more evident, and they cannot control that narrative anymore, in letting us feel like we are the minority. And I just feel like it's just a survival. They've gone into survival mode, basically.
You know, I hear you, Beauregard, and I get you, because there's no way it could be anything else but fear. You know, but you know, when you spoke a while ago, there are times when even here in Jamaica, because I know what it feels like to be in the minority, or minority in quotation marks, and even here in Jamaica, I remember close to where I live, in the night-ish, there's a man who passes my house sometimes and passes my house, right? And this is a man who seems to be, I don't know what race he is, but he seems more white than anything else. And I remember him passing the house one night, late in the night, and we were on the veranda and we were seeing him. And every car that passed, you can just see, like, him nervous and and I said to him, "Oh, Virgin, we'll watch you, man. Go and walk, man. We'll watch, man. We not, yeah,
Right.
because we know what that feels like,
Yes.
and you could just see him literally trembling before him reach him yard. A little bike man pass and you see him start trembling again. And, I am wondering, I'm saying that to say, have these people, I know them not put nobody in the position because them have zero empathy. But for those among them who have empathy, do you know what it feels like to live in a situation like that? It's not living.
It's not.
So for you to enter a bathroom, and see the opposite of what I just read, written about you, you'd be just as scared and nervous and terrified as any other human being.
Yeah, and I mean, by now, it's been, the pain and the suffering has been embedded in our DNA. We're hurt, we're traumatized mentally, physically, emotionally. A lot of us are tired, and the fact that we're tired doesn't mean that we're going to give in, because, we know the fight continues, and God people shall win, and we shall inherit the earth.
God people shall win. I may believe that
Yeah, well.
strongly. And for those of us who are going through some of these tribulations, we have to not just believe, but no, say the children of the Almighty shall win, and it's not because we're going to play dead or we're going to be docile, but it's a right that we have, and if the more side dip on which side we're going to fight.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Ooh.
That's why over the generations they have always tried to let us feel like we are minor on the planet, and to make us feel like Africa is a place that is not, somewhere you would want to go or want to visit, or that there's nothing going on there. Even on the map, how they make Africa look small on the map when Africa is huge compared to some of the other, places on the planet. You can fit most of these continents in Africa and still have space.
That's why them underdevelop and target Africa so, because of the very same reason, without sounding politically incorrect. Somebody stopping them from breed. Because I know our fault. Remember them. Remember back
Remember
good.
good.
Remember back good, no man. I know our
Remember
fault. Sure. but on a brighter note, though, Beauregard, we're going to have an interview. I know you've been sent that information.
Yes.
The premiering of the movie Second Chances happened in New York on the weekend, and I understand it was very successful.
Yes, it was. The cast was here. Spragga
I'm not
Benz
going to
was
be
here, and
gone
some of the other
totally. I'll
cast
be
members,
still
and
coming
they were
around to help.
promoting the movie,
Well, I
and they
just have
did
to
an
pursue
excellent job
my
as far
dream.
as I saw on social media with the turnout and the amount of people that came out to watch the
never
movie.
knew
So
it
it's
was
a good
hard
look.
for
Absolutely, and of course they were
I'm
were
sorry.
honored by the mayor, given citations. The lead members of the cast were given citations by the mayor of New York. I'm sure
Yes.
that was quite a highlight in of their career and their lives. That's great.
That's a good look.
That's a very good look. All right. Honestly, you see, because we're going to have the producer and also Spragga and some of the actors will want an early start.
No problem.
So, can we just take the commercials now?
Yes, we could go to the commercial.
Eh? Hold on, Beauregard. Eva? Hold on, Beauregard. Oh, they haven't joined us yet. Okay, so is there any other story that we can talk about, Beauregard? They haven't joined us yet.
Okay. Well, there's the matter of the Roe versus Wade. The people wanting to overturn that decision that has been standing for so long, that has given the woman the right to abortion. There's been a lot of protests that's been taking place all over the country, here in New York City, in Washington, D.C. Also, people have been turning up to some of the judges' homes, hearing. So it's sort of getting out of hand now in a sort of way. Go ahead.
You know, it just seems interesting to me, religion and matters like these. So there are people who are pro-life, so them take life. You know, there are people who believe in the Almighty, so them kill you if you don't believe in Him. I don't know.
And also in the United States, just as we're speaking about abortion, there's also a big story following the shortage of baby formula, food for babies here in the United States, and a lot of people are saying, how come they have time to, watch women who want to have abortion or not, and they're not watching guns in terms of the shootings that's taking place, and, a bunch of things they're discussing right now. So, the country is sort of split in different ways as far as issues that are affecting the citizens and people living here in the United States.
You know something, Beauregard, as I sit and think about some of the conversations that we have, for those who are anti-abortion and for those who are pro-life, I would be part of the discussion. I would enter the discussion a lot more if so much politics wasn't involved in all of it. Because a lot of it is politics, and less about the lives of human beings. Because even for some of them that are for abortion, a lot of them just kind of don't want to see too much about the place to, more than, for pro, whatever, or against. A lot of it is just politics, and a lot of it is also about population control. And that just, to me, it doesn't encourage me to be part of that conversation. Not on that forum anyway. I would more want to be a part of a conversation like that in my own space, but not on that political forum. Not at all.
And sometimes when you think of some of these things, they just drain your energy, Some of these things that we see happening and we have to deal with them on a daily basis. You know, it's just energy draining sometimes. I mean, you want to hear some happier news sometimes. You want to report some happier news sometimes, you know, but unfortunately we get these issues and topics and situations that happen that we have to let the public be aware of.
Yeah. You talk about energy draining. Oh boy, God, I don't want to sound cynical, but you talk about energy draining. Sometimes I'm watching the news from your side, and then we hear about even, racism and who else, which other black youth get killed, and they're making a big deal of it. And again, I wish I could join in some of those conversations, but there's another motive behind a lot of it. And a lot of it, as far as I'm concerned, just like what you said a while ago, is to keep us on edge, is to drain our energy. And it seems as though there's always a story like that in the news, that just in case we're relaxing for a second, don't relax, them just kill another one at home. It's just like them just purposely programming these things to drain our energy or to traumatize us.
True indeed. Sometimes you have to look beyond, what's being presented sometimes.
Yeah, and remember what Malcolm X said about the media. The media is you have to be very careful about how you buy into the stories that the media choose to deliver, because oftentimes it's just a ploy, and what we see is not what we get. A lot of times it is just to traumatize us.
And one of the things that's been traumatizing us about all these shootings that we see taking place is the way in which the perpetrators are handled. The way in which the police always seem to take them into custody without anything happening to them, not a scratch, no punch, no kick, no nothing. Anything that would happen to an unarmed black person, nothing like that happened to them at no time. And they go to these scenes knowing that these people are heavily armed. And nothing happened to these perpetrators. Them give them water for drink, them feed them, take care of them good, and bring them to jail safely till they reach in front of the judge, have on them mask. Everything is all good. Even them hear them comb and all of those things, Mama Kelly. So, we just have to wonder how come they show up to some of these. And this is not about all police officers, by the way. We know that there are police officers out there who really and truly are out there to protect the citizens and to serve. But, at some point, you have to see what's going on in your circle as well. And if you can see that, something is wrong with the way these situations are being handled, or it's a pattern, then, maybe you should also speak up and speak on behalf of the people, because the people are a part of your family as well.
Absolutely.
I'm sure not everyone in your family is a police officer. You have family out here who are just regular citizens who also are being affected by your actions.
So true. That is another thing that I think sometimes is purposely programmed to traumatize us. The perpetrator will carry us through this long court drama, all televised on social media, and everybody have them fingers crossed and hoping that this one we will see justice this time, and we don't. And program trauma. Anyway, I see members of the cast on Zoom, so let us take a commercial break, and then I know we have a lot to ask them, right?
Okay, no problem, Mama Kelly.
Okay. We have live on Zoom the director and producer and writer of the movie Second Chances, which premiered in New York over the weekend. And we also have a couple of cast, or more than a couple of cast members. So before we join Mr. Cleon A. James, who we're going to be speaking to first, we just want to welcome those listening and viewing from Irie Jam Radio. Welcome to the Tri-State, and we're going to be heard in the Tri-State. So, welcome to you, Mr. James and cast. Hello? We're not hearing.
We could hear you. We could hear you.
Okay, I'm hearing you now, loud and clear.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure. I've been following the movements of Second Chance for a while, and I've also been following the acting career of Mr. Spragga Benz. So that is one of the reasons why we are just very excited about the movie and how it's doing. But before we get into the movie itself, let us talk about Cleon James. And let me tell you something, Cleon. We are joined by my co-host, Beauregard, who is actually, you're in New York?
I'm actually in Boston, Massachusetts right now as we speak.
Okay, so we stream live to the tri-state, and I'm being joined by my co-host Beauregard, who is also a presenter in New York, right? So he'll also be asking you questions. So
Greetings,
Correct.
King.
okay, so let us talk about Cleon James. Tell us about Cleon James. Where you're from? Which island you're from? You are from the Caribbean, right?
Well, Cleon James is from Montego Bay, Jamaica,
Ay ay ay.
born and bred. I leave Jamaica when I was 20. I used to go back and forth to Miami and New York until I decided I wanna make residency in the United States in 2022, and I'm here since then. I've become an American citizen. Went back to filming school and start my filming career. That's who
Okay.
Cleon James is. I'm on my my sixth film so far.
Your sixth film.
Yes.
How did the others do?
Well, the others, I should be respectfully said that those films were I'm finding my way film. You know, like learning the ins and out and trying to figure out, you know, like the few mistakes you have to make, all the attribute of a filmmaker. So from up to the fourth film is when I start to really spread my wings and start to take on actors outside of my friend zone. And leading up to this film, we start to take known actors like these two people that you see about that's on this platform, and the renowned artist Spragga Benz.
Okay, Beauregard.
Yes, Cleon James. Greetings, King.
Greetings, greetings.
Upon finding out about your attributes, finding out about your mistakes, what works and doesn't work, what would you say, in your opinion, is the most important quality of being a filmmaker?
The most important quality of being a filmmaker is just putting out the best content ever. You don't want to recreate the wheel that's already created. You want to put out original content, and you want to make a difference. You want to tell a story, and you want to be an impactful filmmaker with your story that you're telling.
Okay.
What about casting? How important is that?
Casting is very important because without a good cast, you're not going to be able to tell the story the way it's supposed to tell. So you have to got the right people and with the right director, with direction, to tell the story the way you envision it.
Okay.
Do you have you ever came across a project where you started out with the cast and you have had to change or substitute someone because they weren't fitting into the project the right way you visioned it?
A number of time. I remember when I was doing my film Green Card, we actually was in halfway of this in the script, and we found out that this particular it was a young lady. I'm not gonna call no name, but she started to fall off. She not showing up on set, and then when she comes, she's cranky, or then it's like so almost like she didn't want to be there. And those was some of that was one of my huge lesson that I learned, that not not all not all persons that you see that look like the people that you want to be that to play the role is capable and qualified to play the role, because sometimes we see some great influencers and YouTube or people in the club that is prominent people, known
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
but their mindset is not film mindset. The mindset would be like a dancehall mindset. You could get them in the party tonight and they will crush the party, but if you put them on set, it's not gonna work
True,
because
true.
this film, the set itself, have a longer time span. The party is just one night.
Right.
So those are the things that I learned.
So,
Right.
so also when casting in that situation now going forward, do you try to like choose from different people, like around at least 3 4 people you have in mind where you say I could work with these people in case the same situation occur?
We try not to, because it's you cannot replace a person with a different person when you're already halfway in the film.
Halfway, right,
It's
right.
kind of you're gonna have to reshoot. So what we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do is be stern about the casting, letting people know what you're getting ready to be into. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
a long term thing. This is not a short span. So if
Right.
you're not committed to that, tell us no. You
Right.
understand?
Okay.
So we're trying to be stern in the casting, and that's how we're more prominent with people that's already in filming, more than a person that like, you never been in a film before, I won't give you a lead role, because a lead need to be a long span. You could
Right.
take a short role until you prove yourself.
Cleon, tell us a little bit about the play, the background, the story, without giving away too much. And then, as we talk about casting, tell us what it is about Spragga Benz that made you think that he could take the lead.
Well, the movie is based on
I'm not gonna be gone totally.
an
I'll be still
individual
coming
that
around to help. But I
raised
just
up in
have
a
to
good
pursue
household,
my dream.
went to college, get a master's degree in business, and which the
I'm
parents
going to
needed him
hard
to
land a job after
continue
getting
the
a master's
business
degree.
lifeline, but he want to venture out into corporate America.
We'll keep
But
you
with his
informed.
appearance,
Like,
he wasn't
You don't
the
know what can
appearance
stop
that
life.
corporate
always
America
come work for
looking
me.
for.
We
So
can use your
he
skill sets.
he was unsuccessful. So he
I
went
went
back
to college.
the
They
family
dropped out of high
business
school.
where he went
And
into his
expensive
old
cars with big
schoolmates,
wads of
friends
money.
from that he grew up with that was into
This for you.
the
This your
wrong
car.
business that enticed him with the money that he needed,
So let me break
using
this
his
down so you can
skills. He
understand
went up
this
to
business
going down the
goes.
wrong
And
path.
end up where they
His
live.
spiritual
In
background
jail?
and the good upbringing
smarter than
that the
that.
parents put in him,
So we
it
work
brought
with
him back
expertly trained.
to getting his second chance,
operation
and he managed
runs
to
in
get
a
away
lot of
without saying it too much. That's the summarize of the movie.
Right. And Spragga? Did you envision
Spragga Benz is like, I met Spragga Benz a while back. He played a short role in Green Card, and me and him developed a friendship over the years where I watched Spragga Benz in Shatter, so I know his capability. However, this movie is not like Shatters. So when I pitch this movie to him, I tell him that this movie is going to be the opposite of Shatters. But I know he's capable of doing it because his lifestyle when he was doing Shatters is a totally different lifestyle now. Spragga become a Rastaman. So a Rastaman is more on a spiritual, religious kind of behavior where it's equal rights and justice. So the movie is right up that alley. So he fit in perfect for that script.
So the role of David is played by a Rastaman.
Yes, we initially when I wrote the film, it wasn't a Rastaman. It was just a normal person with not the right appearance.
Okay.
But Spragga Benz just came right in time, so we just reconfigured the script just to match the Rastaman then. So that's the appearance.
Okay.
Because it's hard to get the Rasta look into the corporate world.
Right.
You understand? They don't really want to accept that look.
Right. Beauregard?
How much time did the movie take to film?
Well, we the heavy lifting, we took a week, 23 hours every day and night to film. We did have to go back a couple more days just to catch some extra shot to reshoot a couple scenes that we found wasn't up to the standard that we want. But technically, we took a week to film the movie. One whole week, 23 hours a day.
High school.
You mentioned Shatters, and it seems to me that most movies that Jamaicans are asked to star in anyway, or most of the movies that we produce, seem to have gun violence in it. Is there a reason? And is there a reason why you've moved away from it?
Well, the thing is, our culture as a Jamaican, our culture is very different. Our culture could display the sweetest people, but the baddest people. You understand? And niceness is very calm, but badness is very loud. And most time of people associate Jamaican with badness because we can pronounce that very well. You know that one. So I don't want to continue to send that narrative out to the world. I want to show them that we are civilized. We could give you a movie that have some civility in there. We're not putting down Shatter, because Shatter is a great movie. That's one of my favorite films. It's just we have to show them that there's a next side of us.
Right.
And we could and we could show it to you. And you could learn from it. It could impact your life. Right. So that's the road that I'm taking.
I agree with you. Most of the movies that you see now, or the series that you see now on TV and some of these channels on demand all over the place, I often wonder why they don't have more uplifting topics behind them. It's always a drugs background and a go to jail background and all of these things. I'm always saying, like, people who are in the position to, highlight the good things about black people, they should do so and take the opportunity to do so more often. We have seen the shoot them up films, we have seen the drugs, and we have seen all of that already. We want to see something that is new, that is uplifting for the youths them.
Exactly.
And this movie might be one of those movies right now. And speaking of seeing another side of people, tell us about who was the joker on set, who was giving all the jokes and playing around with the filming. Anybody was having any fun like that?
Well, let me first introduce these two of my main actors right now, Miss Merlessa Determined and Mr. John Della Puente. Miss Merlessa Determined is an award winner, an actor which she's like an ambassador. She's doing great. She have a whole bunch of film on Netflix. And when we decided that we was going to film this movie, we venture out. We like, I'm looking outside the box because I want to make this movie big. We have Spragga on board. We need to have supportive leads that could hold up that torch.
Right.
So we reached out we spread our wings and we found these two person, and I should say these two person, we introduce them because they get introduced and set and they become friends like tight since. John Della Puente is a New Yorkie and he's a Yankee, moved down to Atlanta just to pursue his acting career, and he's plastered all over a lot of film. Coming this year, starting the next year going forward, you're going to see him popping up in a lot of huge film coming up. So back to the joking and all of that. These two on set was, oh my God. So I'll let them say a few things. Let them tell you how it was for them.
What a welcome, Melissa and John, to the Bridge 99 FM and also to Irie Jam Radio. So Melissa.
Thank you.
Melissa, let me ask you first of all, very briefly tell us about your acting background and then the part you played.
Well, I'll give you the short version of my acting background. My background, I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, minor in psychology and theater arts. So I actually started my acting taking classes at the university. And from there, I started hosting a Caribbean TV show, went to a few auditions, landed the leading role, and it pretty much took off after that. So everything is audition, work, and more auditions.
Okay.
It never stops. It's like a revolving door. You land a role, you film, you move on to the next. You land a role, you film, you move on to the next. But this particular project, Second Chance, for me, it's a little different because it's a lot closer to home for me because this is a Caribbean film. And I've always wanted to bring my talent back home. And when this opportunity presented itself, I was ecstatic about working with the director, and the majority of the cast are from the Caribbean islands. So for me, it hits a little different. I was really excited. I've done big projects, but this one is one of the films that I was more excited about.
When you say back home, where's home for you?
Okay, my parents, my mother and my father is from St. Lucia, and I am from the Virgin Islands. So I was raised in the Virgin Islands and St. Lucia, going back and forth.
Okay. All right. Beauregard, we have Spragga online. Okay, we have two, Spragga and Sandra. Let's talk to Spragga. Spragga, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, bless up yourself.
Spragga.
Greetings, man.
Yes, bless up. Much love.
All right. So you are no stranger to movies. In fact, no, I have to be saying Spragga Benz DJ/actor. You see me? So my question to you is, tell me the other movies you have starred in and what's the difference between acting in those others and this one?
The other ones are Shattered and Broken Babylon. Also played a cameo role in Green Card. And it was all natural enough because from the beginning, Broken Babylon was just playing a performer at Spragga Benz on stage. So me just be myself. Shattered, we have the freedom to just make it up as we go along and change it as we see fit because we want it to take directly to the streets and be current. But this time now, we have to be more scripted and follow the guidelines.
What's that experience like?
So, yeah.
What is that experience like?
No, because we have to try to play one nerdy type of you now.
Well, you're not.
In between, yeah. So I have a put Spragga aside and say, all right, Carlton, come and do this.
Right.
Spragga
That's a
Benz.
good one.
Yeah.
Spragga, how much fun
Yeah.
was it working with friends that you have grown up with, the likes of a Super Twitch and Tony Mataran on a movie like this? How much fun was it?
Too much. Too much. For one, we don't sleep. And we always have something to talk about. And Mataran always have a story when you don't want to listen. So, it was just all fun.
Yeah.
And then Twitch did not forget in role now. And Twitch, I'm my best friend. Twitch has been my best friend for decades.
Yeah.
So forget now role now to make people feel like me and you are going to war now and me are going to fight.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. At points we have to hold it when certain steering dog. We can't steer on one another.
You want to bust out a laugh, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a friend with this. I always pull it. That's like you can't back up for me and frighten me. I want to tell you that. So, it was a thing. But it came across good though.
But let me ask you this, though, Spragga. I know it has been scripted, but you're given a certain amount of freedom, even within the script, to be natural, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I'm being told that there is a couple of love scenes in the movie. You know, that right away my ears pick up from me. You hear that? so no. And right away the woman, them ears pick up from them, hear that. Because, without too much argument about it, so you're the girls, them.
Well, another thing, the love scene, there was more love and not sex.
Oh, thank God.
we try to make sure, like from day one, from picking out the script. Clear and gave me a couple different scripts to look at.
Yeah.
But this one, I definitely want the one you call more go the different direction now from Shatters. Because with these Shatters, I want to know what that is about. I want to see the impact of that have, whether people want to accept or realize it or not.
Yes, Spragga, I seen all the promotion that's been going on from state to state, from Atlanta to Boston, and also in New York City. What has that experience been like, promoting the film, just moving from state to state?
It has been a good experience reintroducing ourselves to the grassroots market and introducing the new cast members as well, because the people look forward to seeing who them sit on the big screen afterwards and talk and wrap it up a little bit. So it is a good experience going from state to state, town to town, and just doing it grassroots style. Yeah, good vibes.
Can we talk to another actor who is actually on phone, Sandra Lee Brady? Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon, Miss Kelly.
How are you? That's Sandra there. Okay, just briefly talk. Sandra is Jamaican, so just briefly tell us about your acting experience and how you came to be part of this cast.
Okay, acting experience. As you know, I went to Vera Technical High School and I went to Jamaica School of Drama. And then I went to York University and I did fine arts. And then I was in some plays in Canada and starred in a few with the great Oliver Samuels. And I heard about this role through a friend of mine, John T., who's a radio personality, and his girlfriend, who is related to Cleon. And, I met Cleon by their house and did the audition, and he gave me the role. And I'm just so super duper excited about being a part of this with all these great stars that I get to play with.
Right. How was it? No, you go ahead, Beauregard. You talk to her. Ask her something.
Good afternoon, Sandra Lee.
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is it that you like about your character in this movie?
Let me get a second chance. What the movie is about. Okay. Because I play a recovering drug addict, and my brethren Spragga, who is King David in the play, he gave me a second chance. And the name of the movie is what really the movie is about. But I won't give anything away. I just want you all to come out and see it whenever it hits Jamaica.
All right. Let me ask you this, though, Sandra. I love how you promote the thing. But let me ask you this. What was it like to work with Melissa? What was it like to work with John? And almost every day me hear from you what it was like to work with Spragga.
Well, the reason why you hear what it was like to work with Spragga is because when I came on the scene, right, I didn't see they had already filmed their part. So I was just doing my part. So I didn't really see much of them until actually the premieres. to be quite honest. But I'm loving, but they are just very, very, very nice people. They are very down to earth. They make me feel at home. And Cleon is one person that is so professional. I feel so safe, because going away, leaving my husband, just the way I talk about Cleon and his wife and everybody, and just said, Sandra, I feel so safe. You're going away. And Spragga is such a humble person. But by the way, Cleon, I must tell you also, for those of you who don't know, Elise Kelly is a big actress,
Lord have mercy.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
No. Yes. Look here. You see, that's what friends are for. That's my friend. That's Spragga. That's why we hear about you almost every day. And Cleon.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, though, Cleon, before time runs out on us. You know that we are listening to you here in Jamaica. So, the obvious question is when it come to Jamaica?
Good question.
Well, we have very good news. So we spoken with the theater industry in Jamaica. We actually send the film down there with a link so they could watch it. They saw it, they love it, and they approve it. We just have to finalize the date when we're gonna go. So we are going to Jamaica, but the date is yet to be announced.
Okay, wonderful. And what about your Netflixes? And are you thinking that way?
All of those are being put in place right now as we speak. Paperwork are being put, delegation are going on. It's just a matter of when.
Okay. Beauregard?
So would you say that the state-to-state promotion that you're doing right now is a way of trying to set that up?
Oh, yeah. It's all about numbers for these people. And once we could show that there is a needs for this film, and everywhere we go, we're selling out and people are talking and we're creating that buzz, it's a marketing strategy. That's all that is. And it is working.
Wonderful. Right. So which one of these actors got citations from the mayor of New York? Any of them here? Melissa, you got? No? Yes?
Yes, I received pretty much all the lead characters on the project received a citation from the mayor of New York, myself, John, the director, Sean, and also Spragga. We all received this prestigious recognition. Okay. And I was so thankful because it was truly unexpected. You can see by the expression on our faces when they presented it with us. It was truly unexpected. Wow. And we were so thankful because we've been working really hard trying to get this movie out to the masses, because in the Caribbean islands, we have a lot of great talent, and I truly believe and feel like the world really needs to know that. Yes. We're more than just music, we have talent.
Yes.
And I think it's very important that we're showcasing our talent to the world.
Cleon, the movie has a lot of eye candy. I mean, it's a movie. So, I'm just looking at the actors and did you choose this kind of eye candy?
Well, a part of casting people, you don't want to just put any people in the movie, Elise. You know that already. You have this great story. You got these great talent, but you still need some looks.
Yep.
Some people have different agendas when they come to the movie. They go. Some people want to go see Face Boy. Some people want to go see Pretty Girl. So you understand? It's all about the presentation. So yes.
Long and short of it, yes.
But he also made sure that the talent matched the looks.
Yes.
You can have a lot of people
first and foremost
who look good on the outside, but they can't carry the role. So he made sure that the talent that he selected matched the image that he was going for.
Very
also match the character.
Very good.
Spin real quick and say something. Cleon's casting process is very unique, and I love it because the reason why we were able to come in there, receive a script in less than a week, and then shoot right there. We didn't have rehearsals.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes.
Right.
And the way that he casts is like he already knows. Okay, like for example, for me, Cleon, tell him a quick story about how you casted him.
So the way I cast John, I asked John. We sent out the invitation to him. He come on the Zoom. It was over Zoom because it was COVID, and we actually start having spiritual conversation, and because I have a little strategic way how I ask questions to get the answers that I need to get, and without even telling him the script, I cast him for the role that he was going to crack, that he played because of his character that I'm getting, the feeling that I'm getting from him.
Have you seen that some of the people that you have there in minor roles, perhaps in another movie, could get a major role?
Yes, you can, because
Definitely.
they prove themselves with the little that you give them. They wrecked it. They take it, they own it, and they deliver it.
Absolutely.
So you know you have to expand them next time.
Right.
But you didn't know, so you have to give them the small role till that they prove themselves.
I got you. Finally, a last. Oh, go ahead, Beauregard. Go ahead.
No, I didn't get to make it to the premiere over the weekend. How can we see the movie again in New York City? Is it coming back anytime soon, or we have to wait until? Okay. Where's the reference weird?
We tell you now, not to unroll it.
Yeah, it sell out. It sell out.
Spragga, my question to you.
Yeah.
And this is the final one. When this movie comes to Jamaica, no disrespect, but you know that a lot of people are going to be coming to see Spragga Benz. Sell it to your Jamaican people as to why them for come out and see this movie, Second Chances.
Second chance, we don't need to come see it because we know the damage what Shatters do. As much as I love it. So we know the good way this can do. So, make a balance thing. It's all about what? Balance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's very good.
That's very good. And a wonderful way. Very, very good, Spragga. And a wonderful way for us to seal off this interview. Beauregard, may I tell you?
Can't top that.
Can't top that. That's true, man. All right. So this is how we say so long. Cleon, we could chat to you all day. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful finally meeting you, finally talking to you.
Thank you.
Congrats on your top-notch vision filmmaking.
And Red Square production.
And Red Square.
And Red Square production.
All right. All right.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing it in Jamaica, premiering in Jamaica. Melissa, we're looking forward to meeting you in person. John, we're looking forward to meeting you in person. And Sandra, you need to come home.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be very shortly, too.
All right, fine. So, this is how we say so long. This is a wonderful one. So that's Mr. Cleon A. James, writer, director, producer of the film Second Chance, and of course, members of the cast, including Spragga Benz. Whew. I know your listeners must have loved this one,
Yes,
Beauregard.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did, Mama Kelly.
Yes, all right. So we do it all over again on Thursday.
Yes, we will.
All right, so bless up.
Until then, take care.
You too. We get a little message for you fast. The people them must say, boy, them like how you interview the people them now. Tell him for me now because you're telling about your friend them.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama Kelly. Thank you, everybody. Yeah,
all right, so bless up yourself. Thursday, Beauregard. Okay, it's now 12:59. Of course, Nikki Z is in the building and she is on her phone as usual. Duh. So thank you very much again, Beauregard, and the Irie Jam listeners. Thank you very much, Sacheen Laing. We had a conversation with her. And of course, thank you very much to the cast of Second Chance. And we're so looking forward to have them here in Jamaica. I'm out.